Greetings. This is Skyler Saunders seeing what's current. Had a broad topic, not a topic of the day, not really in the news necessarily, not in hip hop cult genre, but I just had a question. FBA stands for Foundational Black American. That means somebody who is of African descent but was born in America and American descendant of slaves. So you have I put FBA because you can be ADOS and you're probably FBA, just because of that. But what I can surmise, what I can understand, is that blacks make up 97% of the Christian population. Of the black people in the United States of America, 97% of them are very religious, attend church regularly, and believe in a thing that is unknown and unknowable. That's the facts. And as someone who can recognize that, black people have made so many strides, so many different, advancements in everything from the sciences to especially the arts and especially music. And it's just amazing how we continue to be in a position where black people, specifically FBA, not from the islands or from different places in Africa or somewhere like that. I mean, people that were actually born in America, raised in America, that just happen to have a higher content of melanin in their skin. So I'm just asking if they could be not only atheists but objectivists, and that's a totally different school of thought. Because every objectivist is an atheist, but not every atheist is an objectivist. That's a fact. So when you have people that wanted to say blacks can only be believers, they can't think of anything outside of the box. That's completely false. There have been a number of people. There was an actress called Butterfly McQueen. She was famously in Gone with the Wind. You have so many various people who have pioneered the idea of being an atheist, but there are very few objectivist black people. The closest one I can think of is Mr. Troy Star Terrain, who is not necessarily a representative of the black experience because he's limitless. He doesn't limit himself to being black. He's a man of color who happens to live in America. But like myself, we know that if we're stopped by the police and they're not going to think of us as a man of color who happens to live in America. They're going to think we're black. Okay, they're going to think that. They're going to think that's the case. And that's what's going to continue on until we get to a point where I think that'll be the biggest shackle. Because obviously atheists can be communists, they can be socialists, they can be fascists. Very few are capitalists. So I'm a minority and a minority and a minority and a minority. I'm a black man in America who is atheist, who is an objectivist, and because of objectivism, is a capitalist. And I don't think that is a dirty name or a word that should be smeared. It's something that should be stood upon proudly. Wave the banner of capitalism, which is the dollar sign. That's what I'm about. I'm about a dollar, but it's more than a dollar. It's about property rights. It's about individual rights. That's what capitalism is. People that think, capitalism is just about making money. No, that's mercantilism. You're just trading back and forth. That's a facet of capitalism, of course. Consumerism and producing. I don't know if there's a word called producerism, but maybe I just coined it. I don't know, but producing and consuming, and trading funds and goods. That's what's called mercantilism. Capitalism is about individual rights and the protection of those property rights. That's basically what it is, a social system of justice. And I would venture to say, even though we disagree, Mr. Troy Star Train and myself, capitalism is a moral system. It's a system of morality. It's the morality of capitalism. That is a fact. We disagree there, but that's okay. We're still business associates. Now, back to the atheist. I mean, the black church. I mean, I was watching a clip with Dr. I can't remember his name. Let me look it up real quick. Dr. Sean. He had on the ideas of these two young black women, Siobhan Taylor and Sikivu Hutchinson. And they just explored the differences of atheism, and they're pretty articulate. They're very well versed in what it means to be an atheist. They just, the Mrs. Hutchinson, she just failed. She had an idea that capitalism is predatory, that there's a white supremacist infrastructure that is holding down the black man and black woman. It gets deep, but it's very clear. I wonder what would happen. What if in America all black people just stopped believing in God? Just stop. Just had no notion for the unknown and unknowable, the thing without evidence that everyone purports is real. Ironically, because we are in reality. We should be speaking about only things that are true and factual and have evidence. But I'm putting we, because I was a believer for 16 years. Took me a while. And some people are, like Dr. Yaron Brook, he was an atheist at 6 years old. He figured it out way before I did. Okay? 15 years before I did. So I don't look down upon Christians. I go to church every week. Or if I'm not, I'm streaming it. And that's, the cornerstone of the Black American experience. There's and they talked about it. The young woman, her name was Siobhan. Let me see. Miss Taylor, she was saying how it's like the black church has so much richness about it because of its rituals, because of its rich history, rich, ideals. It teaches you how to sing. It teaches you how to speak in public. It teaches you how to organize and have movements and have committees and different ministries and different things of that nature, and a schedule and a order of service. It gives you that sense of structure within the framework of believing in something that doesn't exist. But that's what's tied to it. And if you want to go even further, look at black culture. And then what's subsumed under that is genres of music. Every major genre of music, country included, is a result of black people. Where do you think the banjo came from? I'll wait. All right, I'll tell you. Africa. Banjo came from Africa. Where did the banjo usually played? In country music. Then you have the guitar. Of course, it's not black made, but it was revolutionized through the bluesmen. And then later on, gospel music picked up because they said, whoa, we still got to believe in God now. You blues people, you can't have, all this, talk about, things that are secular. We got to bring it back to God. And that's what they have done. Gospel music, and then you have R&B, you have rock and roll, you have soul, you have jazz, you have hip hop, you have all that together because of black people in America. So if the culture and the different genres of music can revolutionize the world. Hip hop is one of the most dominant genres in the world. Jazz is still played all over the world. So is R&B, soul, and gospel. And of course, the blues. Without the blues, you have none of this. I mean, think about it. Speed metal. You think that's only white people music. I can't listen to that. I'm not gonna listen to that. That's white people music. Speed metal's great grandfather was the blues. If you look at the lineage, look at the timeline, the passage of time, and see the blues ushered in the whole idea of being in rock and roll and rock and metal and heavy metal and speed metal. It all comes from the same root, and that's the blues. So I'm just wondering, this is something that struck me it's always stayed with me, but I've been able to put on a platform like this, my ideas, and be watched by at least 2 people right now, and the view count could be 3, could be 80, could be 1 billion. I never know, because YouTube is, a little sketchy with their numbers. But I think it is important. I think it is vital for us to explore this issue, because I think it will be a major happening if all black people say, you know what, done with God, no more. And it'll take some time. I'll give people enough time. Like I said, 16 years, from 3 years old to 19 years old. I was in the church. I was in the choir. I was deep in. I told you this before. But I don't have a problem with saying that, without the black church, you don't get people like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who 60 years ago stood on a platform and said he had a dream. Very famous speech. Extremely famous. That's an understatement. It's extremely famous. And that's what went on in the consciousness of America, I think. Because you say, who are the biggest names in black history? You go to Frederick Douglass, you go to Harriet Tubman, that's in the 19th century, then you go to 20th century, you say Malcolm X, you say Martin Luther King, you say Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And you think about them, you think, well, they're tied to religion. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is related to Christianity. Malcolm X is related to Islam. And then you can't think about anybody else. And then a few years, and then a number of years later, it's Reverend Jesse Jackson running for president. And then another years later, it's Reverend Al Sharpton running for president. But you know why they said about Barack Obama? Because he's not out with his Christianity. He'll say a few things, he said when he was president. He said a few things about Jesus and about God and about Christianity and how he was brought up in goddamn America preacher, Reverend Wright, that fiasco. But he's totally different. He's totally different from what you think of as the black male leader. The man that's in charge, the HNIC, head nigger in charge. You're thinking about reverends. You're thinking about imams or people that are in higher structure in, the black Islamic experience. But President Barack Obama, had a totally different outlook. Like I said, he played lip service to his Christianity. But he wasn't like President George W. Bush, the compassionate conservative, the Christian, the born-again Christian, that had to change his whole lifestyle and revolutionize the idea of, like I said earlier, the conservative compassion, the compassionate conservative. It's a mouthful. And he outwardly was like all about Jesus, and his base was all about Jesus. It was like every red state, and in the South especially, was all for Jesus and all for him, and so he got 2 terms. And Obama was like, you know what, I'm not, you know, going to go all the way in and say I'm a Christian, but I'm gonna just say it a few times to appease people, to let them know that I'm not a Muslim, that to let them know that I still have faith, and I'm not. The world isn't going to end because the president of the United States is an atheist. But it's just a wonder. It's just something I've been thinking about. It's something I would always want to get the answer to. Put a 1 up if you're if you're watching this live stream in the live chat. I want to see what I'm working with, please. If you don't mind, just put a 1 up so I can see who you are. All right. With the amount of issues I said, with the black movements that have been through, organizing for voting, organizing for going into marches, the black church has been the cornerstone for all of that. Has been the bedrock, and it just makes it seem all right. Earl Edney, you're just listening, okay? You're not trolling. You can troll. I don't mind if you troll. I don't mind. You can troll all you want. Salute. I'm saying respect the goal. Put $80 on that, Earl. Thank you for visiting me. I think it's the first time you've been in the chat, so I appreciate you. And you don't have to do the whole $80. I'm not asking for just one person to do it unless they are so inclined. But if you just make a small contribution to this program, I will be elated. I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20. Do what you gotta do, and I appreciate it. Thank you again. And I'll do a quick ad. Subscribe to Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube.com. This is a great channel. Has soul, quiet storm, jazz, smooth jazz, just really great adult grown up music. I'm sure you'll like it. But back to the topic, black people, FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and some ADOS. I'm not sure. I might be ADOS. I'm not, but I'm sure I'm an FBA, Foundational Black American. I was born on this soil. I have more melanin than some people. It makes me FBA. And I know there's other, things that go into it, but those are the main ideals that are perpetrated or purported by it. I shouldn't say perpetrated. Purported is better. So yeah, I would just like to see that. I would love to see that day. Objectivists, because that's the thing too. It's like not just atheists, but objectivists. Will there be a groundswell? Will there be a wellspring, a fountainhead, the creator, the great leader, not a dictator, but somebody that's in a position of power who will say, you know what, today, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can be a Christian, you can be an atheist, you can be an objectivist. We're just choosing to be objectivists, though. What would happen? I mean, would there be chaos in the streets? Would there be bloody wars? The great one is saying, damn, Skyler, you good? You look like you're nodding off a bit, but in there, the devil knows his own. Yeah, well, I took my happy drugs. Took my happy pills. They make me go to sleep. I'm almost there. Trying to keep awake. As you can see. I think you had that like, but look. How about this one, great one? Salute. Expect the goal, my friend. But yeah, so that's the whole point of it. I got 2 likes. That's great. 2 people watching, 2 likes. Could be 3 people watching. I don't know. But Earl and the great one are definitely in the building. Salute. Yeah, salute too. And don't forget about that $80. Oh yeah, it's right up here. I'll show it to you. I got you. Hold on just a few minutes. I got you. Yeah, so it's weighing down on my consciousness. I'm not your brother, but thank you. Thank you for, I'll see if it's a donation. I'll be able to see on my phone. And I'll give the new goal if you feel so inclined. I do appreciate anything. Yeah, I'm past my bedtime, to be honest with you. But I had to get this story. I had to get this story out. I had to get this out because I was just watching something from 3 years ago about black atheism, and of course, they're not objectivists. So I had to say objectivists. And okay, what that means basically is the school of Ayn Rand, which explains about reason, individualism, and capitalism. Those are the 3 main values of an objectivist. Reason, your capacity to think. Individualism, you're your own person, indivisible as such. And capitalism, the only moral social system of justice. That's my interpretation of all those 3. I could be wrong. I may need adjustment. I need to be corrected. All right, Sam, you're in my good book. If you're the great one is Sam. You're definitely in my good graces. We have $70 as the new goal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Trust me, I don't take it for granted. I didn't have to have it, but I do have it. So I am very appreciative. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for contributing. We can keep chipping away at this goal as we go along. So we keep rolling. Thank you very much. Either the great one or Sam. Which one do you prefer? I guess you want to go by the great one. If that's you, I appreciate it. Thanks for the emoji. If you don't know yet, I hate emojis. Especially with text. I don't understand all the emojis. I don't know what you're laughing at. I don't know what it's so funny. I don't know why you got I don't know why you got eggplant emoji with a water squirt on a peach. And now nobody's watching. Okay. Gotta go for the rebroadcast. So he said, I'm gonna drop $10 on him, get out of here. Fine by me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, this is tax-free. I ain't gotta worry about IRS. I'm all right. I'm living the good life. But I want black people to live a good life too. They have, struggled and had travails and still persevered. Continue to go on. I'm not a black person. I'm a man of color who lives in America, but again, I have to claim myself to be African American in the eyes of people that are in authority, that have a gun at the back of my head, who are arresting me for something I didn't do. And that's where we have to analyze just what it would look like if black people were objectivists. All black people. Or if they had the option. I'm not saying that we must be an objectivist. That's completely wrong. That's dictatorship. That's despotism. It's just completely wrong. I'm saying the option. If black people opted to be objectivists, because that would be a religion in itself. I'm an objectivist, but I still believe in God, or I don't believe in God, but I'm an objectivist, but I believe in fascism or something like that. You have to be a complete and utter and full objectivist. You can't have both. You can't eat your cake and have it too. Salute Richard James in the building. It says, I'm telling you the truth. And now it says one. Okay. Richard James is in the building. Everybody give a thumbs up. Everybody donate. We already got $10 in. So that knocks us down to 70. Let's see where we can go with that. There's still a lot of time left in the room. But I just wanted to let people know, we have an opportunity. We saw it with music. And the music, if that's applicable, it may not be applicable. Oh, well, a philosophy is completely different than a music genre. And I know that. I'm just teasing the idea. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering and saying aloud what I would like to see. And what I would wonder what would be. What would it be like? Because the world follows the African American. This is a fact. Like I said, with the music, everything from the blues to hip hop and beyond. The world revolves around the black man and the black woman. The black woman has big lips, big hips, big ass, big tits. Okay? And the whole world wants to be white women. They want a big ass now. They want to have the big lips. I'm just going on the trail of the late great, Paul Moon. He said, where are they getting it from? From car accidents? They go to the side of the road and say, oh, see a black woman dead, and put the lips on. That's just one of his routines. That's one of his bits. But it's true. It's a fact. And black men, they're so cool. They've always been cool. They've always been, the strength and the might and the arms and the mind of this country. I don't want to just put it on the physical sense. In the intellectual sense, black men have been on the vanguard. Everyone from Percy Julian on down. George Washington Carver, so many others. So I think, and I would venture to guess, I would pretty much know the fact that we have so many people that are so relegated to one idea that blacks can't be non-believers, that blacks can't think for themselves. They have to look to something mystical. They have to look to something that's not rational. 97%, that's almost a whole population of people. And there's, of course, so many different issues that are very serious within the church, like molestation, like subjugation, like misogyny. All these things are so true within other churches. The Catholic Church, look at that. That's predominantly white people. Of course, there's black Catholics, but there's not a lot of them. Mainly black people are in Methodist and Baptist churches and other and churches of the South, mainly. But what's in the South? Strip clubs, Magic City, Body Tap, all that in the Atlanta metro area, in Georgia. And what do you have? People go and party on the whole week, and on Sunday they're in the church and they're Sunday best. Like they weren't just slumming and bumming the whole week. So I'm saying Magic City, and Body Tap. They're, in the South, in the deep South, in Georgia. They're not in, I mean, there's, of course, strip clubs all over the country and all over the world. But especially within the Southern culture, you're in church on Sunday morning. I don't care what you did all week. Woman could have stripped all week. Man could have been tossing in dollars all week. But when it's time for church, you're suited and booted. She's got on her, formal dress and hat, and you're in that pew listening to the minister speak about whatever. That's just the black experience in most cases. And that's how it has been for centuries. For centuries, over 200, 300 years. Even when America wasn't even established yet, there were churches where black people were in some kind of formation in slavery days, where they were in a hut or a hutch or something like that, and they're praising the Lord. And that's the thing that is partly rooted in what I was saying earlier, is the fact that people have been able to hold on to the idea of the church because of the fact of all the people that have passed on, all the slaves, all of them that have passed on and passed over. That's the saddest part. That's the part that intrigues me and wanted me to ask this question. So I'm just impart you. I'm just gonna land my plane on this one. What if FBA were all objectivists? What would America look like? What would the world look like? Would other countries adopt objectivist principles? Would that be the case? Or is that too simplistic and watered down for me to even venture to say, oh, well, black culture, black genre, sport. That's another thing. Sports all around the world. One of the biggest icons of all time, Muhammad Ali, was all around the world. And then somebody probably bigger than him in stature and, the business world was Michael Jordan. He's still around. And he represented America and black people, even though he didn't have the ideas of a whole lot of other black people. He said Republicans buy sneakers too. He said that out of his own mouth. It's a fact. It's true. And there's questions of whether he had political views and stuff like that. He mainly fought for black people. He wasn't really on the barricades and yelling and screaming or anything like that, or part of organizations that advance black people. But he already advanced black people by just being a multi-billionaire. How about that? Saying it's possible. You don't have to be a basketball player, but you can be a CEO. You can be an owner of a team one day. You don't know until you know. So that's what I have to say about that. That's in the books. All right. So, time remaining. we have to discuss the audio of the ruler of the kingdom of the air. This audio has 237 people that have listened to it so far. It is by a great man named Ralph Anthony Garcia. He is of the United Ronin Networks. I finally didn't stumble over that. Applaud me. Pat on the back for that. Pat on the back. Applause. It is spectacular. I am so pleased with it. It is something that I treasure because it is something that he didn't have to do, but he did it. He did it well. He did it extremely well, with excellence. A great addition to the story that I wrote because it brings it to life. I can't put it on the screen, but I can get it read. I don't have the camera work. I don't have the lighting, the actors, all the crew that goes into making a film. But I can have somebody make up audio. I have that happen. I can get that done really fast. And Mr. Garcia, the real, the regal, the loyal, I can't think of all of them together, but he definitely respected my dollar. We hashed out, and settled upon an amount. He did it. He did the thing. I appreciate that because Rule of the Kingdom of the Air is such a story that needs to be read. It is about self-discovery, adventure, quests, testing knowledge, finding out, doing the scientific method, deducing. It's all those things. And I'm just excited at the fact that someone has chosen to do something that is so wonderful, that is so great. I'm talking about the audio. I think personally my story is great. But the point is to see if the general public, if anybody else picks it up, shares it, lets other people know. That's when you have the mark of something truly great. Have something that is of word of mouth or word of email or word of X, I guess you can call it, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. That's the thing I want to know too. Who, just going off base right now, who did it best? Who wore it best? Who did it best? Prince, with the artist formerly known as Prince, Kanye West, the artist formerly known or Ye, and I guess Prince was the love symbol, and Ye, and X, the social network formerly known as Twitter. I just want to know who did it best. All right, that's neither here nor there. But I want to know, where in the world do we get the idea of ruler of the kingdom of the air? Well, I just happened to look at the challenge. The challenge was create the first chapter of the great American novel. And an American is in brackets, or Canadian novel, or Portuguese novel, or whatever, because they're trying to have inclusion, have diversity and all that. That's, do what you got to do. I'm not necessarily a proponent of all that. It's a great American novel because it's a great America. America is great. Way before Trump, way before Biden, who was a horrible president. Just mainly the last few presidents have been horrible, and they've done good things too. But for the most part, Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton. Like Clinton, he left the White House with a surplus. After all that impeachment and trial and all that kind of things, that he was almost impeached or removed from office. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But I go way off the topic. The topic is ruler of the kingdom of the air. It is the audio I'm talking about. This audio is so on point. I've said this before. He uses voice modulation. He knows how to inflect. I'll give him this much. It was censored because he censored himself. The word goddamn. I put goddamn in the story. It's censored on his audio. It's his audio. So I have to respect the fact that he censored. And I don't think the word censor is best. He blocked out the word goddamn. And I have to respect that because this is his audio. This is his from his page. He got paid for it. So I respect that. So when it comes to people like Ralph Anthony Garcia, I have complete trust and faith, self-faith, not mystical faith, in him, as well as other people. I have a new banner. This is from Kurt DZ. If you have any issues, look up Kurt DZ. Try to find him on. Design by D at gmail.com. That's it. DESIGNBYDZ at gmail.com. That's Kurt DZ. That's for the banner. And if you want to get in touch with Ralph Anthony Garcia, you can go. You go to Ralph Anthony Garcia, and then you go to oh, here it is. It is. He's CEO and founder of the United Running Networks. I said that before. Look, it's blocking it out. I'm trying to find it. But you can just go on Google, put in Ralph Anthony Garcia, the Regal, the Royal, the Ronin, Ralph, R4. That's what he's about. He's a businessman. Says that he went to Columbia University for business management, Ivy League school. We're not dealing with a dummy here. We're dealing with a highly intelligent man of color. I appreciate his business. I appreciate Kurt DZ. I don't know all of his biographical details, but Kurt DZ has wonderful designs. I had an idea for the credit card that is in the image, and it was too modern. It was too like today's. It had the chip and the symbol for you can tap. I was like, I want to see if we can go a little far back. I mean, let's see if we can get vintage. And he came up with a vintage one. It's just, it blows my mind. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he does it, but he's an asset, and I appreciate his time and efforts. Something very special to me. It brings me, joy and happiness when I see that, men of color are able to make business deals and sign contracts virtually in order to further our lives. Rule of the kingdom of the air is furthering my life right now. That's the beauty of this. That's why I think it's so important and so vital to what we have as people of color. We're not backbiting and stabbing and wounding each other. We're not hurting each other and killing each other. We're doing business. And that's America's greatest export, business. That's what we're known for. this story is about. Stories about Delaware. What is Delaware about? Business, corporate capital of the world, credit card capital of the world, chemical capital of the world, the seas. And that's why I say, Delaware is boring and vanilla, or has the idea of a manila folder. It's plain, it's beige, it's gray. Quite the contrary, it's green. Blue and gold makes green. That's on our flag, blue and gold. And what does that make? Green. Because that's what Americans in Delaware do. They come here for school, you come here to raise a family, you come here to retire. But in the meantime, all that, you're working somewhere, either for a short stint or a long period of time. That's just facts. This state has so many things to offer. This is just the first chapter, but I wanted to peek into what Delaware is about. It has a diverse amount of people. Black people came up here from the South, were already here. The Indians, mainly the I can't think of the name right now, but I can't think of the name right now, but that's the truth behind that, I know. Let me look this up. I can look this up. Because they call them the Delaware Indians. The Lenape, or the Lenape. That was a crucial native, tribal organization over the years in Delaware. And Delaware is just about history. Everything from being in Sussex County or Kent County or Newcastle County. It's about, going to different historical sites. Or if you're so inclined, we have tax-free shopping, so you get to go to all the different outlets and different shopping centers and buy all the different gadgets and doohickeys you want without paying taxes. Isn't that nice? Now, see, I would say the opposite. There should be no income taxes. There should be no payroll taxes, no Medicare, no Social Security taxes. But there might be, on certain consumer goods and services, a tax, a consumption tax. That would make more sense because you would keep the money that would have been sucked out from your paycheck. You would actually be able to hold on to the money you earn, you put in blood, sweat, and tears and your effort to do. And that goes from everybody from the lowest rungs to the highest rungs, and especially the highest rungs, because they always say, oh, well, the rich aren't paying their fair share. They have too much money. They need to be giving it away. Well, aren't you? Wait, put in context, you're rich too, depending on where you are, and depending on if you're in the lowest rung. If you make $10,000 a year to $20,000 a year, you know how much more that is than somebody in Asia, in different parts, or in Africa, and in some places in Europe, South America. You're living like a king and a queen in America. And I hate that reference because kings and queens don't earn anything. That's one thing about our greats. The king of rock and roll, the king of rap, the king of pop. They had to earn their title. Kings and queens in England and elsewhere, they just go by bloodline mostly. I digress, as I tend to do. But a ruler of the kingdom of the air is something that is precious to me. I want to win. Okay, Greg S is in the building. He's a freeloader. Let's see if I can't shake some dollars out of his pockets. Hold him upside down. Thank you, Greg S. Yeah, I think you're trolling, but because if it was that awesome, I know the numbers. If it was awesome, I would have hundreds of views a day. Because you're not sharing it. You didn't share it with enough people. Even if you shared it with one person. To respect the goal. $70. All right. But no, you're not. Nobody in this room. Shoot, I don't even know 100 people. Oh well, send it to 2 people, and leave the third one hanging. Let them wonder what what's that about? Who sent that? What kind of story is that? And don't tell them. Just let them figure it out on their own. You shared it with 4 people. Okay, you're trolling. I don't believe you, but okay. Because if you had shared it with 4 people, I would have at least 10 or 20 views a day. Because then they would then send it to 4 people, and they would send it to 4 people, and keep going on and on and on. But I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you for your trolling. But now I want to do something interesting. I want to do a part where I say comments on my channel, from the studio. Let's see if we can do this. I want to do the ones that are negative, especially. These are the ones that are special. Oh, I like these. These are good. These are really good. Oh, this is good. All right, this is from Black BLK Divine 7. I guess it's trying to say Black Divine 7. Respectfully, you are making sure no one forgets because you're saying in every other sentence. So I say respectfully. This comes from Mike Diggs V2. Ain't nothing like a black man that's ready to turn on another black man. She likes black penis and she's supporting a black man. Nobody's gonna help you when the whites jump you. You clone reject star. All right. I like that. That's vicious. I said thanks for the hate. Now donate. And put up my cash app. Black Divine has something else to say. Why do you marginalize black people all the time? Everyone you talk about, you always put them in some nigga stereotype. Do better. Maybe you'll get your viewership up and stop that. He meant to say stop that. Trying be like Star. Sounds like you are the broke one, sir. I don't marginalize anyone. This is me speaking. Please offer specific evidence where I marginalize blacks, especially. I'll wait. If you check my pedigree, you'll find I call all races nigger, whether black, white, brown, red, or yellow. I call out men, women, and trans. I'm not Mr. Terrain, so I don't pretend to be. The whole time you spent writing your little diatribe, you could have sent in a Cash App donation. I am broke, and I clap back. Sometimes I use a sniper rifle. I use a sniper rifle on Rory. These ones I'm using like a Uzi. I'm just spitting, But I hit Rory right between the eyes. Rory was saying how I should come on yeah, I need haters. Haters are great. But how I should come on the platform for Choice Star Terrain show. And then like Mr. Trent was like, whoa, you're a Marine. You're supposed to get back at him. Get at this, don't let him get to you like that. So all I said was, I don't need your white hand of guidance. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else. It was a sniper shot right through the eyes. Because that shut him down. He didn't say anything about me elsewhere or anything other things at all. I was very fortunate. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. Mr. Cheeks POV. Bro, it was a racist crime. You're trying to dissect the wrong thing. If it is plain and clear, he wanted to hurt brown people like you. It's not debatable, really. He had racist markings on his weapon. Watch and this is me speaking. Watch and share the show. I'm clearly explaining how a hate crime doesn't really exist. It's a concept that isn't really a concept. Reevaluate your thoughts. That was from just a few hours ago, and the other ones were from a few days ago. So I appreciate everything. I want the hate. That's what makes me stronger. Like I look at positive ideas, and I look at people that are supporting me, and I believe that's great. I thank you for your support. Would love your support. If you did in the Cashapp form. Rory is a chump. Greg ass is crazy. No, I like Rory. If I had to do a top 5, let me see if I can fill in the top 5. It would be number 5, Dana. Number 4, Florida Boy J. Number 3, Rory. Number 2, let me see. Who's number 2? I'm drawing a blank on number 2. Okay, Aaron. Yeah, Randy. Randy was cool. Randy messed up a few times, but he was like one of the best. Just to explain and see, tease out an idea. And number 1, who's my number 1 for the best? And Troy Star Terrain's comments. And it's not me. I'm like 60. I get on. I get nervous. I don't say the right things. I say stuff that's wrong. I'm just telling you the truth. My number 1 is Mo Facts. Mo Facts lives up to his name. He has facts. He breaks down his ideas in a logical way that you can understand and figure out on your own. And it's just, I applaud him for that. He does a great job when he calls in. So that's my top 5. Choice Star, the Star Report commentators or callers into the show. I don't know who Tom Young Lechen is. Who's I've noticed you still haven't put in a donation, so I'm just I skipped the Aaron question because you asked a question, and every question costs. If that hasn't been established, every time you want to know something, you got to put a $sign next to it. You want me to answer a question, you got to put some money on it. Yeah, you're broke. Yeah, but you're on a computer. You have a phone. You have a car. What are you? All those expensive, and then I come up with only have $2 left in the bank account. Is that the case? Hey, I'm broke too. Shoot, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. Tell you the truth, I ain't got no money. I'm broke. But hey, it's time for me to go to bed. I've gone on long enough running my mouth, and I appreciate everybody that came through. I appreciate the new viewers, to my knowledge, Earl Edney and the great one. Salute to both of you. Salute to Greg S., even though he's a troll. My AC don't work. I'm dusty living in an apartment. Hey, to be honest, you're far ahead of what? I don't even know what percentage of the world. About half the percent of the world. You have a flushing toilet. 3.5 billion people don't have access to a toilet and a sanitation system. You're ahead. You're ahead by a lot, because that sanitation system prevents different diseases like cholera and scarlet fever and yellow fever. So you're ahead, Greg S. Appreciate that. Understand and realize that if you're living in the great state of America, in the states of America, you're way ahead of a great percentage of the population in the world. So you can have AC, the air conditioner that doesn't work. You can be living in a dusty park. Ahead, but I'm in a race with bums. Then you're in a race with bums. So what? Who cares? You're still ahead. Don't worry about the bums. Just know that you're ahead. Be selfish. Be rational. Anyway, I will see you most likely tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. King of the Bums. All right, that was great, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Make sure you share Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air. I didn't try to rhyme, but it happens. You'll mail me some cash. Yeah, that's cute. Thanks for the trolling. I appreciate the trolling. But yeah, Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air is available on vocal.media. Make sure you check it out. Thank you very much. Take care.